Hi everyone, my name is Dana and welcome to this beginner's yoga video. Before we start, make sure you have your yoga mat and a space at a wall, a clean, smooth space that doesn't have pictures. It's not like a door that has ridges on it. It's a smooth, clean wall that you're gonna end up putting your whole body against it. In addition to that, I'd like to prepare you for the information we'll cover today. First, yoga is a barefoot activity. I'm going to teach you the basics around using your feet in a barefoot activity. It's important to know how to strengthen and work your feet in the yoga practice. Second, I'm going to cover the basics around posture. How to engage your muscles in the right way to maintain an open, lifted posture without causing discomfort or pain. And finally, I will teach you a few basic yoga postures. I'm going to emphasize standing poses today. It's a great place to start to get grounded in your legs, learning how to use your feet and leg muscles, and learning how to cue your own good open posture. Okay, so as we prepare for some standing barefoot footwork, I'm going to give you a view of my foot, and I'm going to teach you some points I'll be cueing from. This would be the inner foot. So I'm calling that the inner foot. It aligns to your inner thigh, to your inner leg. This I'm calling the outer foot, which would align to your outer leg and up towards your outer hip. Then big toe mound. That's like the knuckle of your big toe. This would be your little toe mound. The knuckle of your little toe. If you're in a yoga class, you'll usually hear, for sure, big toe mound. You'll hear people refer to that. Then inner arch, or inner heel and outer heel. So those are 4 points that you're going to end up pushing into the ground. And then you've got inner arch. This is your inner foot arch. And then this would be your outer foot arch. And your arches lift away from the ground. So these are the parts that push. These are the parts that lift. Inner foot, outer foot. Okay, got the basics of the foot. So why don't you come towards your yoga mat and make sure you can see me. While you're on your yoga mat, spread your feet hips width apart. So your hips, you want your feet to be underneath your hips. So this is me spreading my feet hips width apart. When I look down at my feet, I see that all 10 of my toes are facing straight forward. In other words, my feet are parallel. You might already be noticing, oh my gosh, I have one leg that turns out. Oh wow, my toes turn in. If there's something dramatic going on, don't be aggressive with yourself. Just gently guide yourself towards a more parallel stance in your feet. Next, feel your inner foot, feel your outer foot. Okay, then press your big toe mound and your inner heel of both of your feet. So watch when I do that. You might see how my knees drop in, my ankles drop in. I'm gonna relax that. I don't wanna do that too long. Then press your pinky toe and your outer heel. Push out through your pinky toe and your outer heel. So you see how my legs start to widen. And then I relax. So again, push inner foot, relax, push outer foot, relax. Push inner foot one more time, relax, push outer foot, relax. And I feel tons of muscle work happening when I'm doing that. Next, big toe mound, little toe mound, inner heel, outer heel. Push all 4 of those points down simultaneously. Relax. So try it again. Push all 4 points down into the ground. Relax. Push all 4 points down. Relax. It might be difficult. Try one more time, just trying to push those 4 points into the ground. Relax. Something that might help you is lifting your toes off of the ground. So when I do that, right away, I feel my toe mounds and my heels start to push. Not only do I feel that, but I feel my arches start to lift so that it looks like this. So this is me with a normal foot, and then when I start to pull my toes up, you might be able to see how my arch gets stronger. This is me relaxing, and my foot is more flat. And this is me lifting my toes, and my arch gets more of a curve. Inner arch and outer arch. So keep pressing down through your toe mounds and your heels. Pick up through your toes and even feel those inner and outer arches lifting up. How about 1 or 2 more times, just at your own pace? Your feet might already be feeling a little tired. We're not used to working our foot muscles as much in our culture. And then relax. Okay, so now I'm going to turn to the side. Press through your toe mounds and your heels. Lift through your toes. And now even more, try to push. I'm keeping my toes up. I'm keeping my arches up. But I push down into my feet. I lift my chest and my spine. And then I relax. I even give a soft bend to my knees. Toes up, toe mounds, heels push, shoulders roll back, chest lift up. So now we're starting to add posture into the mix and relax. So I have a slight bend in my knee to relax. Then pick your toes up, push down through your toe mounds, down through your heels, roll your shoulders back, take a deep breath, and relax. 2 more. Toe mounds and heels. Push. Toes and arches. Lift up. Roll your shoulders back and breathe. And relax. 1 more. Toes, toe mounds, pressing, toes lifting, heels pressing, arches lifting. Roll your shoulders gently back. And then can you keep the lift of your chest? Keep your legs strong as you take your toes onto the ground. So in other words, could you start to learn how to keep your arches lifted, your legs strong, without having to lift your toes? And I understand if you can't quite get it yet. It's difficult for a lot of us. A lot of us are quite weak in our feet muscles. And then relax it all. Okay, so next part, spine awareness. Low spine, I'll call this your low spine, your middle spine, or your middle back, and then your upper back. Okay, low spine, low back, middle back, upper back, and then neck. I want you to find that wall and take your heels. I want you to take your heels as much as you can into the wall behind you, while you begin to take your back towards the wall behind you. So when I do that, when I take my back and my head back, my legs or my hips might start to buckle forward. So don't do that. Keep your thighs back, keep pushing down into your feet, and even lift your toes up as you begin to move your back and your head towards the wall. So another thing that happens, if you can see me, is the low spine in particular can tend to move away from the wall. We don't want to do that. We want to try to move the low spine back towards the wall. And then see how I roll both of my shoulders gently back, and I just take a couple deep breaths. Can you keep this shape, thighs back towards the wall? And can you gently stretch your toes towards the ground, but keep your legs strong? Another deep breath. I relax by bringing a slight bend into my knees and my spine just slightly forward. If you need even more of a rest, you can step away from the wall completely. But if you can keep moving on, let's do it. Press toe mounds and heels. Strengthen your legs. Lift your legs. And see how I try rolling my shoulders back, moving my spine towards the wall behind me, and even my head. Some of you will not be able to get there. Some of you, the head, it'll feel like it hurts your neck, or you can't quite get your head back. And that's okay. Don't force the issue, and just know that it will come with time. For the next part in mountain pose, and at any point feel free to lift your toes. Now you know that trick, so you can use it if you need to. I'd like to show you lifting your arms up and overhead. It's called Urdhva Hastasana, arms extending upward. Legs strong and back, head back. So see how I just lift my arms. I'm not swaying my back. I'm keeping my back against the wall. And I try to bring my arms all the way back to the wall. Bring your arms forward and down. And try this a couple of times. So I from mountain pose, rolling my shoulders back, press my arms back, and that feels good too. That feels like a great stretch. I feel tons of work in my legs as I reach my arms forward and up, and I try to bring my arms all the way back to the wall behind me while I keep my arms straight, and then the arms come forward. Try this one more time. I know it's a lot of work in the legs and the core and the back and shoulders. You could try lifting your arms up. Try not to curve your spine. Can you keep your spine long as you extend your arms up? Then bring your arms forward and down and relax it all. And oh my gosh, like when I'm working my feet like that, I have weak ankles and knees, and I get a lot of muscle tone work in my feet, my ankles, my knees, my legs. It's good stuff. I'm going to show from this direction, taking that, it's called Urdhva Hastasana, reaching the arms upward. From this angle, you'll see how I'm continuing to press through my inner and my outer foot. So in other words, it's very normal to have knees. My natural tendency is to be knock-kneed. So I just gently ask myself to strengthen in a way that helps to align my knees. I feel my shoulders roll back. my head come back. I also have a naturally kind of weak core, weak abdominals, and I'm asking my abdomen to just gently draw in. Maybe you have really tight shoulders or a tight chest, and you have to work your shoulders back. Just feel it out for yourself. Where are your little problem spots, and work with them. Breathe with them. Now, when I push my feet down, I feel myself grow an inch taller. When I first started doing yoga, I measured at 5'7" and a half, and now I measure at 5'9". No joke. And it was posture. I had horrible posture. It's a big part of it. So I strengthen and open my body, and I let the wall inform me if my low back is starting to creep away from the wall, if my legs are starting to creep away from the wall. I keep moving back and lifting up. So again, 3 times. Arms forward and up. So see how my arms are straight. My elbows are not bent. I'm straightening my arms the best that I can. Even if to get straight arms, you need to move your arms a little wide and try to extend out that way. And then coming forward and down with the arms. I press my arms back and roll my shoulders back. So this is even a great toning for my back and my postural muscles. When I press my arms into the wall and I push my thighs back, I feel my entire back working. 2 more times, arms up and breathe. From mountain pose to arms extended upward. Full deep breaths. Let your neck be long as you take your arms next to your sides. Press your arms into the wall, roll your shoulders back. Use your back strength, use your core strength. And then arms up. It should never feel like achy in your joints or your low back. If you feel achy, try backing up a step. Try doing a little bit less aggressive work. And then 2 arms forward and down while you press your arms back, lift your chest. And relax. Okay, so next we'll cover another standing pose. It's a standing pose and a forward bend. A half standing forward bend. It's called Ardha Uttanasana in the Sanskrit. These are Sanskrit terms. If it sounds like, you know, a different language, that's because it is. And I'm using that also when I'm telling you these names. For a half standing forward bend, you're going to try taking your hands to a wall or to a piece of furniture that you can rest, like a kitchen counter, if this gets to be too fatiguing in your shoulders, for example. See how my hands come in line with my hips. And I actually am going to push into the wall while my legs and my feet walk back. And then I'm going to look down at my feet and say, okay, are my feet parallel? Are they railroad tracks? Am I working my arches? Check, check, check. Then see how I firm my legs and I straighten my legs, and I press my hips and my thighs back. So if you'll notice, my spine is in a straight line. So in other words, I'm not like a turtle shell. If you are finding that you're feeling like you're slumped in your shoulders and you feel like a turtle shell, you could try bending your knees a little bit. Then you could try pulling your chest forward towards the wall and see how that flattened out my back. Another thing, if you're feeling the low back sinking in, no, you actually should feel strength in your core. Your core lifts up to support your back, right? We hear about that. To prevent back pain, we need a strong core and we need the stretch. So this is doing both. Strong core, stretch. And then just notice how last few breaths I'm once again going to feel my legs extend straight. My feet are strong, my legs are strong, my spine is long. I feel work in my shoulders as well. Last deep breath in and out. When you look forward towards the wall, walk in. I'm about a foot's length, but I have big feet, so maybe a little bit more than that, away from the wall. So mountain pose now, facing the wall. Bend your knees a little bit, press your toe mounds, your heels into the ground, and start to roll your shoulders back. Now see how I firm my abdomen towards my back. The very bottom of your spine, your tailbone, some of you know your tailbone, the very bottom bone of your spine, can you move it away from your low spine? Another way for me to say this is try tucking your hips under. Brace through your waist. Roll both of your shoulders gently back. Your hands could be in line with your shoulders. And straighten your two legs from a feeling of strength. So I feel my legs working, my core, my back. My chest is lifting. Take a deep breath in and out in this wall-facing mountain pose. And we'll come back to this in a moment. But now, bend your knees. Slide your hands in line with your hips. Second time with your half standing forward bend. Take your feet backward. See that your feet are like parallel, or like two railroad tracks or two planks. They're parallel. And then abdomen up, arms extending forward. Strengthen your feet and legs, and if possible, straighten through your legs. And if not possible, it's perfectly fine too. It's fine to be a little bit more backed off. If the shoulders are getting fatigued, if you need to work on your core strength, if you're really tight, if your shoulders are, again, fatigued or tired, be a little higher or use a piece of furniture. Another 2 full deep breaths. And when you look forward towards your hands, can you walk forward? Again, I'm walking forward about a foot's length. I have big feet away from the wall, and see how I'm going to adjust my tailbone away from my low back. Another way to say that is I'm tucking my hips underneath me. Feet and legs strong, core strong, lift the chest. Now, arms extending upward, Urdhva Hastasana arms. But let your hands slide up the wall without moving the rest of you. Let your hands start to crawl higher up the wall. Keep breathing and crawl your hands up the wall. Stay strong in your legs, stay strong through your core as you crawl your hands up the wall. Now slide, as you slide your hands down, lift your chest up, lift your spine up, push down into your feet, lift your chest, bring your arms next to your sides in mountain pose, and roll your shoulders back. Take a deep breath in and out. Second time, bend your elbows, take your hands to the wall, and then let your hands come up the wall. Stretch up, and breathe. Stretch up. Core tight, legs strong. Crawl your hands up the wall. Push down through your feet, lift your chest, lift your spine. Second time, let your hands slide down the wall. Bring your arms next to your sides. Roll your shoulders back. So notice how I'm letting my outer shoulders roll back and my chest lift, my spine lift. I'm lifting through the crown of my head. One more time here. Hands to the wall and slide your hands up. So this is an upward extended arm shape. I'm going to choose to From here, keep stretching my arms up, and I pull my 2 arms off of the wall and back. And I'm doing that maintaining the strength of my core. I'm not arching my low spine. Hands to the wall, second time of 3. Crawl your fingers up and then pull your arms back and breathe. Keep pressing through your toe mounds and heels as your fingers come forward. And finally, one more time, lift your arms forward, up and back, and breathe. And then 2 arms coming forward, and slide your hands down, and arms next to your sides, roll your shoulders back. Full deep breath in and out. Work your back strength, work your core strength. And then final time with that half standing forward bend, take your 2 hands to the wall, walk your feet backward, strengthen through your feet, strengthen through your legs, and press back. And breathe. And pressing your legs back, keeping your core engaged. Extend through your spine. Full deep breaths. Take that last full deep stretch of your whole body. And when you gently look forward, you can walk in towards the wall and relax. Yay. So the last bit, so that we covered how to use the feet, posture, and a couple of standing poses. Mountain pose, Urdhva Hastasana, arms extending upward in mountain pose in Tadasana. We did a half Uttanasana, or standing forward bend, half standing forward bend. And I'd like to end with actually how to sit properly. Since especially if you end up in a group class, you will want to know how to sit. And it's difficult for a lot of us to sit on the ground with our legs crossed. So I have a great trick on how you can train your body how to tolerate that. So it would require you, again, to use this wall. And you would take your hips all the way to the wall. So a lot of times when people do this, they're going to start off kind of like this, right? Like you're sitting on your couch and relaxing. But we're doing yoga, so it's not that time yet. So you take your hips all the way to the wall, and just start with your legs extended forward, and try rolling your shoulders into the wall behind you. So if even here, if you're feeling like you're slumped this way, and it's really hard for you to get back, or you feel your hips tucked like this and it's really hard to get yourself back against the wall, having like a couch cushion or a pillow that has some firmness to it, or maybe a couple. I'm showing on only one yoga blanket, but even just with that one yoga blanket, I feel a ton more lift. So play with this in your home work, okay? Simple cross legs. I'm crossing my right shin forward. My right shin is in front of my left shin. And you might have seen how I did that, and then I took my hands and I pick my hips up and I readjust and I roll my shoulders back. So oftentimes when we're first beginning with yoga, we do this simple cross legs and we look something like this. So again, actually, when you're so tight like this, sitting on lift and sitting on even more lift than I'm showing right here, if your knees are high, The higher that you sit, the easier it's going to be for your knees to release down. So I'll just show a little bit more. So if you have made it to that simple cross legs, just take those last few deep breaths with that first side of simple cross legs. So the higher the hips are, the easier it is for your knees to drop down. Then try your second side. So you would take your second shin forward. And if you're finding still that you've got some more beginner yoga classes to take before this is going to work for you, I'm sympathetic to that. And I would say, if that's the case, why don't you get a straight back dining room table chair and sit in it in a way that you can roll your shoulders back and lift your chest up. And this will come, I promise, with practice as you start to get stronger and loosen up. So I'm just letting my knees drop down, but this is still a tremendous amount of work in my back. As you can probably feel, this is, holy schmoly, this is posture work. You know, I am a strong, capable woman, and when I get on the wall like this and I cue my postural muscles and I keep breathing deep into that open posture, I feel it, and I'm grateful that I can work this way. It is, like I said, I have literally grown in height because of how I used to carry myself, and I know so many people, so many students that have come to my class who have had the same experience, not to mention pain issues that have been alleviated. Neck pain, back pain, those are two really common ones with this type of back work. All right, so from there, from that simple cross legs, you're gonna release your legs out one more time, and with your legs wide, this would be called like a wide-legged staff pose, Dandasana, in a yoga class, but it's the very beginnings of starting to work towards a seated forward bend. So that said, you could try briefly taking your back off of the wall, but I'm not taking my head off and leaving the rest on. See that? I actually pick my whole spine and head off of the wall at the exact same time, and then I take it back. 2 more times, and back. And maybe it's just the intention of taking your back away from the wall, but I go forward, and I take my back all the way back. Okay, finally, what we're gonna end with is a legs up the wall position with a hip stretch, which will, if the seated simple cross legs, if that seated easy pose, Sukhasana in the Sanskrit, was too much for you, and I'm sure there are some of you that that's the case for, this is going to get you there to be able to sit that way. So notice how my back is on the ground. I'm choosing to place a little bit of lift under my head. For me, that feels comfy. And then notice how my spine stays flat. In particular, I'm keeping my tailbone down while I take my right ankle onto my left thigh. You're going to do both sides, ankle to thigh. You might also have noticed how I tried to place the ankle without really cranking on my leg. If you do have to grab for the foot, just be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to your joints. So keep your hips on the ground, and also tailbone as right ankle comes onto that left thigh. Take some deep breaths. I feel my shoulders now more relaxing into the ground underneath me. I'm relaxing any tension through my neck and shoulders as I let my hip stretch. So maybe you're finding that you're not feeling much stretch here, and you could try placing your right hand onto your right thigh. I'm not pushing directly on my knee, by the way. And I could press my right thigh away from me. If that's still not quite there for you and you're not really feeling much of a stretch, you could keep your tailbone on the ground and pull your left foot away from the wall and hug your left knee with your hands as you pull. And breathe. And that posture work, you know, it's intense, focused strength work. So I have to consciously tune in and let go. Let go of my muscles, let go of any mental chatter, any grip or hardness that I've created inside. And I let that first side go. And I switch. Left ankle to the right thigh. Be gentle with your joints. This might be tons of stretch. You might have found that your hips crept up away from the ground and you need to drop them down again. Press the left thigh, not the knee. Press the thigh. Breathe. And again, I'm just noticing, wow, that was, again, a lot of focused strength work, working on posture, especially when we're not used to it. So let go of any tension that might have developed as a result. Maybe you're finding this is just getting easier. You could still keep your hips on the ground while you bring your right leg in towards you. Soften through your neck and shoulders. Deep breaths and stretch. Breathe down into your hips. Allow any last tension to melt away. Then the right leg, right foot can come back onto the wall. The left foot also can come back onto the wall. So a last little back traction, it actually, you use your own arm and hand strength to traction your back. I slide my hands down towards my hip creases and I press gently with both of my hands. So in other words, my shoulders might want to shoot up into my ears, like I'm wearing my shoulders for earrings, but I'm going to soften my shoulders and press through my hands. Breathe deep into any last tight spots in your back. And then when you let go of your thighs, can you try hugging both of your knees in towards your chest at the same time? Relax, breathe, and try to relax any tightness. Breathe and relax any tension. Breathe and observe any stretch. Relax into that stretch. Can you place your feet onto the ground now? Let your two knees drop together, your feet come apart. Place one hand to the abdomen, one hand to the heart. And breathe. Breathe into your abdomen. Relax. Relax and breathe into your chest. Relax. Relax and breathe deeply into yourself. Giving yourself one last little reset. Let go of any last little bit of tension. With that next breath that you take, let it go. And begin to learn how to work with yourself that way. This is one of the great benefits of yoga. We learn how to work with ourselves even in the midst of feeling the stress of a posture, feeling the work of our muscles. We can learn how to regulate our body, our mind, by breathing, by staying open to the experience, by learning to relax and release stress or tension. And please, from there, on your own time, roll to your side. And can you lift up? And you might choose simple cross legs with your back against the wall, or you might choose to give it a try now that you've done that brief meditation in our relaxation pose. It might come a little bit easier. Can you roll your shoulders back and feel that imaginary wall behind you? Take your two hands in front of your heart and close your eyes. Take a deep breath into yourself. Feel your breath with gratitude. Namaste. I thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this beginner yoga video, and there's more to come. Have a great rest of your day. Continue to stand tall, breathe deep, and I'll see you soon. Bye.